Genova, and I'm running for park board with the Vancouver NPA. For many years, I've had a passion for parks and recreation, and that's why I'm running for park board. I'd like to begin by thanking the Douglas Park and Mount Pleasant Community Centre Associations for hosting the meeting here today. I'd also like to begin by sharing some of my priorities for park board with you. These include community centre renewal, accessibility in our community centres and our parks, creative funding solutions and resources, engaging youth in parks and recreation, new senior centres, and green space. The Vision Vancouver city manager in a meeting said, "These are not your community centres, they're the city's community centres." Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have to disagree with her. These are your community centres. And if I'm elected, I promise to work with you and engage in meaningful public consultation to move forward with many of the initiatives and issues facing your community. In November 2008, I attended an all-candidates meeting and heard Vision meet up on the NPA, saying they could do better. They made $30 million in promises. First, they promised to complete the Killarney Senior Centre in 3 years. It's not. It hasn't even been started. Then they promised to save the Mount Pleasant Pool and the Jericho Wharf. Well, here we are 3 years later, and there's no senior centre. They flip-flopped on the pool and the wharf, and they're gone too. I won't make empty promises. If I make a promise, I keep it. Regardless of what party is elected to City Council, I will stand up for the citizens of Vancouver who elect me to represent the best interests of the park board. I won't pass the buck and blame it on City Hall or the mayor or tough economic times. I will go to City Hall and I will fight for the park board budget and for the capital plan if I'm elected on November 19th. One of the many reasons that I'm running for park board is to protect the independence, to protect and regain the independence the park board has lost in the past 3 years. As the only elected park board in North America, the Vancouver Park Board is crucial in maintaining the quality of parks and recreation we enjoy. The current Vision Board has allowed the park board to become another division of City Hall. They have not kept their election promises that they made in 2008, and they've blamed the lack of park maintenance on tough economic times. We've had rough times in Vancouver before, folks, and we've never had a problem cutting our grass and maintaining our facilities. For example, in the windstorm of 2007, we saw $3 million of unexpected costs, and the park board got creative. They had a tree-a-thon and raised money through a gala. They didn't tell you they had to choose between programming or cutting your grass. To answer the questions that have been presented to me today, I actually issued a media release. It was titled Park Board, Community Centre Associations are not park board piggy banks. I think that it's absolutely unacceptable that for the first time in history, community centre associations have been held hostage and have had to pay on average $40,000 each. The park board should be helping the community centres who stretch the dollar. For every dollar the community centre associations have, they're able to stretch that into $2. So we need to support that. We shouldn't be taking money from them. Now, we might have had a $5.5 million budget cut, but we have to start thinking about creative solutions and funding and resources, and we have to go to City Hall and fight for that money and get that back. So that's answering one of the questions, that's how I think funding needs to be restored to the park board. And in fostering our relationships with our community centre associations, we have to stop asking them for money or a contribution or a donation. The other night at the Roundhouse Community Centre, I heard that it was optional and that it was no longer optional. I'd like some clarification on this because every community centre association I've spoke to has not thought that this was optional. I'd like to share with you a little bit about myself. I've been involved in many charitable organizations, including gala and fundraising committees for Odd Squad Productions. I'm a director of the board and fundraising chair for Honor Host Society, a home away from home for our first responders, Canadian Forces members, and their families when they are injured and ill. And I'm also past director of the Moberly Arts and Cultural Centre. I've organized nonpartisan forums to get youth excited in politics. I work in real estate and community development for a not-for-profit society. I did live in Douglas Park for a number of years, just a block away. I now live on the east side of Vancouver in Riley Park with my husband Blair, who works as a police officer, and our dog Romeo. Thank you very much for having me here today.